My video cut out, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, I've never seen this transmission temp get above 200 degrees. Even cruising around town, I've never seen it go above 200. What's nice about this gauge is you've got your digital readout and you've got your analog readout. So, if it's normal cruising, you might see it around 180, 175, 180 on the analog side. You'll also see it come up on the digital side. Going back to the wideband, obviously right now we're not running, so it's showing that it's lean. This thing's going to bounce around all over the place while you're driving. The key is when you're wide open throttle, if you do look at this wideband, it should be, the car's tuned to run at like 11.4, 11.5 air fuel wide open throttle. That's with E85. If you see something like 12.0 or 12.5, what I have in this car, underneath this seat right here, the passenger seat, there's a lean protection module underneath the seat. So, if you're cruising around and you hit this thing and you're wide open throttle, and that wideband goes to something above what the lean protection module is programmed to, watch what happens. There's a little LED right here in this AC vent. So the key's on right now, right? So I'm gonna floor the car and watch what happens. See that light flashing at you? What that's telling me is that it just shut down the PCM, which is behind there, the factory computer. So the lean protection module is hooked up to the computer, and then the computer is hooked up to the wideband. Anytime the car goes lean under wide open throttle, that light comes on and shuts the computer down. So at this point, if that light comes on while you're wide open throttle, the car's off. It protects itself. The neat thing is, if you just blip the throttle once, watch, it goes back to its normal state, and you can continue driving. It's programmed like that so that if for whatever reason a fuel pump goes out or the car goes lean, the engine will protect itself. It's saved my freaking life so many times I can't begin to tell you. So once again, I'll go through it with you again. So right now, that's a lean condition. If the car is running and I go wide open throttle, boom, right there. It just shut the computer off. Or actually, what it does is it pulls all the timing out of the car and allows it to just go into protection mode. And in order to get it back out of that protection mode, you just blip the throttle, light goes out, and you can continue driving. This is what happened to me this year in Bradenton. When I was in the finals, I launched the car and I blew a vacuum line off the back of the blower. The car went lean, which I didn't know, but this light came on, it shut itself down, and it protected itself. So it's already paid for itself. Same goes for the J&S Vampire. There's a knock detection on this car. So underneath the seat, there's a module called the J&S Vampire. If you look it up, you can read a really cool article about it and what it actually does. Back in 2003, this car didn't come with a knock sensor like a lot of the LS cars did. Your Z06 has a knock detection on it. This car didn't come with it from the factory, so I added one. When you start the car, you'll see some lights come up here. That's completely normal. It's set up for being very, very sensitive. So if it senses engine knock or any kind of like noise in the engine, you'll see some lights light up. That's fine when you're cruising, but in wide open throttle, you should not see any of those lights come up. So if you go on your local dyno or something and you want to have this tune checked out or just see what kind of power it's going to put down, as soon as you go wide open throttle, you shouldn't see any of these lights. Even if you do see any of these lights come on, that's not a bad thing. It's just telling you that the car's pulling timing. So if a green light comes up, that means it's pulling a little bit of timing. Yellow means a little bit more. Red means it's pulling a lot of timing. So something's going on. I've never seen this thing come on at wide open throttle. But once again, normal driving, you'll see some lights flicker here and there. I've got the sensitivity turned way up so that if it senses anything, it'll, like, I can run over a speed bump sometimes and it'll think that it's an engine knock and it'll, you know, it'll light up on me around town. But it's just a safety feature.